This is music, and this is a bunch of albums where the number one track is the number one track. Mr. Hipster himself, Thomas, from the Mercyful Metal channel, has issued a challenge at the entire vinyl community. If you don't know his channel, go and check it out. In particular, if you love authentic 80s heavy metal, hard rock, thrash metal, speed metal, even some AOR, or if you love authentic late 80s, early 90s death metal, if you like obscure releases and artists from those eras, and if you love original pressings from those eras, check out his channel. He shows a lot of cool stuff. It's entertaining and educational. Anyways, his challenge is he wants us to show 10 albums where the first track, the number one track, is also the best track, the number one track. So I figure this is going to be difficult but fun. So I got 10 albums where the best track is the first track, except in some cases, objectively speaking, it's probably not the best track, but it's the track I enjoy the most, except in some cases, I have a bunch of songs from that album that I enjoy equally that are all my favorite tracks, but at least the opening track is one of them. So I'm cheating, whatever. Let's get down to business. Up first, this one here, Balls to the Wall by Accept. The opening track is also the title track. Balls to the Wall. I think this is a great heavy metal album. Overall, the songs range from good to fantastic. Um, the opening track, though, I think is the epitome of an 80s metal song, and I love everything about it. The main riff, um, the chorus, the verse, the vocals, the spoken words part, the baritone choir part, the goofy music video, everything about it is just fantastic to me. And it is, in my opinion, a fantastic metal song on an album full of good to great to fantastic songs, but I enjoy that song the most. Up next, change of style maybe, from The Razor's Edge by AC/DC. Yeah, the opening track, Thunderstruck. I know I'm not being very original here because it was a massive hit. Now, this is an album where I actually love all the songs on the album. I think they're all great, even Mistress for Christmas. I know a lot of people trash that one, but I love that song too. But there's just something about Thunderstruck, the way it builds in intensity, the opening guitar figure. It's become an iconic AC/DC song. It has its own groove. It's catchy. It's fun to sing along to. And I do understand why they picked that song as the single to promote the album. I love all the songs on here, but I just like Thunderstruck a little bit more. Change of style again, by Blind Guardian from Somewhere Far Beyond. The opening track, Time, What is Time? This is an album where I think everything on it, even the filler stuff, is masterpiece level power metal. Uh, this is the kind of power metal I love. I count this as their early era, where it was kind of like power metal and speed metal combined. And I just love that early era. And this is probably my favorite Blind Guardian album. All the songs I think are fantastic, but Time, What is Time, was the first song I heard from this album and probably the first Blind Guardian song I ever heard. It's kind of fast, it's kind of aggressive, but it's also catchy, epic, memorable, has just the right amount of cheese and Schlager mentality, and it's just a fantastic song. I enjoyed a tad more than all the other songs on here just because it resonates with me a little bit. But it is, again, it's the epitome of a great power metal song, in my opinion. Change of time, of tempo and style from Epicus Doomicus Metallicus by Candlemas. Yeah, the opening track, Solitude, which again, it's an epic song and it's an iconic Candlemass song, in my opinion, and an iconic doom metal song. And this is another case where all the songs in the album are masterpiece level songs, but the opening track is just a tad more iconic. Just the riffs, just you know, kind of slow, epic doom metal riffs, epic and very emotional sounding vocals too. Sad lyrics about wanting to die alone. It's as doom metal as it gets, in my opinion. And I just love the song. It resonates with me a little bit more than the other songs on here. I love the vocals in this album. Don't get me wrong, Messiah Marcolin, fantastic, unique vocalist. No one will ever sound like him. His operatic style, the albums that he sang on, fantastic. The first Candlemass album I heard was actually Tales of Creation with Messiah Marcolin on. And Rob Lowe also sang in this band at some point from Solitude Aeternus, and another kind of operatic singer. And they've had some other great vocalists. But there's just something about the style of singing on this album, and in particular in this song, that just, I think it's because it has some emotionality to it. Fantastic song on a fantastic album by a fantastic band. Up next, change of style again from Celtic Frost's Emperor's Return. I know there's an EP. Circle of the Tyrants, iconic Celtic Frost song on an EP actually that's full of iconic Celtic Frost songs. So that's something. But it just starts out with that opening riff, immediately recognizable. It's kind of sloppy, but perfectly sloppy. Great sloppy, but perfectly sloppy guitar tone. You got some of Tom Warrior's best grunts in that song too, and it's just a great, dirty, kind of punky, thrashy, first wave black metal-y song. Iconic Celtic Frost song. All the stuff on that EP is actually enjoyable, but there's just something about Circle of the Tyrants. Change of style again from Dizzy Miss Liz's self-titled debut album, Waterline, the opening track. Iconic riff, instantly recognizable riff, great vocals, catchy song overall. This is an album where I think all the songs are actually fantastic and equally good. I just enjoy Waterline a tad more. And I think it's just because it's the first song on the album. Sometimes that makes it your favorite song, or at least in my case, my favorite song from an album, because it's the first song and it's the one that I actually kind of, click with whenever I listen to the album. So that's why it's on here. This is melodic hard rock from the 90s, but it doesn't sound like 90s hard rock. It doesn't sound like typical melodic hard rock. Very original hard rock, very catchy, very sophisticated in a way, very melodic, of course, and very unique and original. And these guys were one of the biggest, most popular Danish rock bands in the 90s. And if you want to check out some very popular 90s Danish rock, check this one out or their other 90s album, Rotator. Now, Iron Maiden, but the X Factor from the Blaze Bailey era. This album, I think, has some masterpiece songs on it, but it also has some songs that I think are atrociously bad. The highlight to me from this album is actually Blaze Bailey's vocals. Uh, I was a fan of Blaze Bailey's vocals before he joined Maiden, when he was in Wolfsbane, and after he left Maiden, he's just put out top-notch albums, consistently. Um, so I don't like the production on this album. I think the guitar sounds too weak, but it's a minor point. So of course we're talking the opening track here, "Sign of the Cross," dark, epic Iron Maiden song. It's a masterpiece Maiden song in my opinion. It starts out with a dark and atmospheric kind of bolero section. And then it kicks into a slow galloping song with some simple but haunting guitar melodies, and it goes on like that for a while. And then it kicks into a strange progressive bridge with odd time signatures and stuff. And it's just a great song on an album that has some outstanding masterpiece songs and some terribly bad songs, in my opinion. But Sign of the Cross, that's a masterpiece song, I think. So it's my favorite song of that album. Up next, change in style again. Uh, Empire by Queensryche. I'm breaking a lot of rules by saying this, but this is my favorite Queensryche album. The rules are you're supposed to have Operation Mindcrime or uh, The Warning as your favorite albums by Queensryche, or maybe the uh, debut EP, one of those. You're not allowed to have Empire as your favorite album. I don't care, it's my favorite Queensryche album. All the songs are fantastic, but the opening track, Best I Can, it's just something else, I think. Starts out with some almost like radio drama and what sounds to be like a gun control message. And then you got a very iconic synth introduction kicking in. And then the vocals. And it tells a story about a disabled man who is burning with ambition and is just working to be the best he can. That's uplifting, I think. Being ambitious, working hard to be the best you can in the face of adversity. That's uplifting. It's also the entire message of the original, uh, the two first Star Trek series, the original one, and in particular, the Next Generation. So there you go. Anyways, starts out with the vocals. First, they have a boy singing because he narrates something that happened in the childhood of the main character of the story told in this song, and then Jeff takes over and tells the story about his adulthood. And it's just a great song, great riffs, great use of synths, not too much, but it works. An uplifting song, catchy as hell, and great mix, in my opinion, of some progressive metal, traditional metal, and some more commercial AOR. And I can go on record saying that it's my favorite Queensryche song too. And I love a lot of the stuff they put out back in the day. Actually, from the debut EP up until and including Promised Land, I think they're all fantastic albums. Then they went into a kind of a downward spiral, in my opinion at least, putting out stuff that I did not find inspiring. And it was only when Todd Latour joined on vocals that they became interesting to me again. But there you go. The next one might be Left Field from Rainbow's Bend Out of Shape. It's not even my favorite Rainbow album. I love this album though, more than I think a lot of other people do. My favorite Rainbow album, I may be breaking some rules again. It's actually Long Live Rock and Roll, followed very closely by a shared second place, Rising and Down to Earth. I love everything this band put out though. Now, this is interesting because I don't think the opening track, Stranded, from Band Out of Shape, I don't think it's objectively speaking the best track, because this one has some fantastic songs on it, like Fire Dance and a bunch of other songs. But it is my favorite track of the album because it's so simple and it's built around very memorable, very melodic guitar riffs. And the vocals, I think, are great, but that applies to the entire album. So I actually enjoy the opening track the most, although I think some of the other tracks are better. Uh, but I think it's a great album, and I think it deserves more attention than it gets, but whatever. And last, from Trouble's Manic Frustration, the opening track, Come Touch the Sky. It just has a cool Led Zeppelin vibe to it, just the main riff and the vocals, and there's a certain kind of edge to everything, actually on the entire album, but in particular that song. Now, I would not consider this to be a doom metal album at all. It's more like kind of 90s sounding stoner rock, but kind of original 90s sounding stoner rock. Love the guitar tone. Love the vocals. Like I said, there's a certain edge to him. So, yeah, Come Touch the Sky, my favorite song on this album, but it's closely followed by Memories Garden and Excuse Me. And then on the third place, everything else in this album. I love this album so much. It's a great album. Um, I don't think it's my favorite Trouble album. That's the more doomy sounding predecessors, but this is the first Trouble album I ever heard. So Come Touch the Sky was the first Trouble song I ever heard, so I have a soft spot for it. So there you go, a bunch of albums where, in one way or another at least, the number one song was somehow number one. Now go and check out the Mercyful Metal channel. Like I said, it's a really cool channel. and we kind of jokingly call Thomas Mr. Hipster because he jokes about it himself that he drinks hipster drinks sometimes. So there you go. In any case, check out his channel. Thanks for watching.
Bye.